I got to be honest with you. I lived in California and worked around people who worked with Kamala Harris. Saw her at some meetings. I didn't know she was black either. I agree with President Trump. We're going to give you the backstory and tell you how it developed. Here's something that is important because I think it's going to come up in the debate. And I started doing some research on it, and I ended up being quite a defender of Donald Trump. And what I'm referring to is Donald Trump said a couple weeks ago that he didn't know Kamala Harris was black, and he didn't know when she turned black.
No one did.
I want you to hear Kamala Harris in her own words, self-identifying her race.
I stand before you as the first candidate for Vice President of the United States of South Asian descent.
And you all helped us win in 2020, and we're going to do it again in 2024.
I didn't know she was black.
I stand before you as the first candidate for Vice.
You get the point. She was not black for a while. She was of Indian descent. So I did more research and I found her birth certificate. Here it is. Let me tell you what it says. The mother and the father self-identify on the birth certificate, as is always the case if there's an identified mother and father. Obviously, the mother's there. The mother declared herself from the country of India, and she says she is Caucasian, i.e. white, from India. The father describes himself as Jamaican from the country of Jamaica. And you may also have heard that their family owned slaves during the time of slavery.
Right.
Which leads to the joke, is Kamala Harris going to be eligible for reparations, or is she going to be paying reparations? So you can see why Donald Trump is confused, because we're all confused, right? That's the actual birth certificate there. You can't redo history. It's a public record in California. In fact, it's the same form my kids have. Exactly the same form.
Let me ask.
California birth certificate.
Yeah. Can I ask you a question? Mm-hmm. Let's say you meet someone that's from European descent, and the two people, a man and a woman, and let's just say they moved to the continent of Africa, let's say Congo or let's just say Egypt or South Africa, it doesn't matter. Let's just say they moved from Europe to Africa, and then they have a child. Now, they're not dark complexion, they kind of, maybe a little bit, maybe your complexion, maybe a little bit lighter, right? And they move to Africa and then they have a child, okay? Same complexion as them. Are they now black? Now, they may be African because they were born in Africa, but are they now black? The answer is that no, they're not black. They're still Caucasian. They're Caucasian, but they're African, right?
Well, the
reason why I bring that up.
They're African American.
Yeah.
Elon Musk.
Yes, exactly. A great example. And the reason why I bring that up, because they talk about Kamala Harris's dad being from Jamaica. Just because you're from Jamaica doesn't make you black. Where are his parents from? His parents were from descendants, it's been reported, from India. So if his parents are descendants from India and they moved to Jamaica, it makes him Jamaican, but it doesn't make him black. So
under race, he did not put black. He did not put African. He put Jamaican as his race.
Yeah, he's not black. And this is something that's really been like a pet peeve of mine here lately, because I actually had a family member bring this to my attention because they hate Trump so much and that Kamala Harris is black now. And I'm like, no, she's not. Right. And I got into a pretty heated argument to the point where this family member hung up on me, Barry. And sorry. I'm not the type of, person to be disrespectful to family members, because I believe that God is going to judge all of us for the things that we've done in the past. So I try to not allow that to be one of the things that I've done wrong. But anyways, nonetheless, I'm having this conversation and this family member that I'm talking to straight up tell me that, have you ever heard of the 1 drop of black blood rule? And I said, yes, I have.
Well, why
And
why don't you explain it? Because I don't know.
okay, so back in around the 1930s, 1940s, Democrats came up with this whole policy that if you have one drop of black blood in you, because, you know, a lot of the slave masters would go into the hut with their slaves and they would have children. And they determined, because a lot of these children started coming out, my complexion, a little bit lighter, et cetera, et cetera. Well, what ended up happening was that the Democrats said, well, if you have one drop of black blood in you, it means you're black. It doesn't matter who your father was, or if you happen to be a black male with a white woman. It doesn't matter. If you have one drop of black blood in you, you're black. And what dawned on me after, you know, I've heard it before, but you know what I come to realize? It was racist Democrats that came up with this rule. And you mean to tell me these people that are complaining about racism all day long today, you're still complying with what racist Democrats told you back in the day? Why are you denying who you are?
It gets people to vote for you.
Oh my goodness, yeah. So that's what they're trying to say with Kamala Harris and her dad. And again, still, regardless of all of that, her dad is not black. I've met people from India when I used to live in California. I've met people from India, Barry, that are really dark, a lot darker than I am. A lot of these people, they move from India and they live in Singapore even. And they're really dark. I mean, some of them are darker than my family members. And I got really dark family members. But it doesn't mean they're black. It means they're Indian, from Indian descent. They don't even consider themselves black.
Well, I guess when you were in California running for office, Indian was better than black.
Yep.
When you were running for vice president, saying I'm the first South Asian candidate for vice president, it worked.
Yeah.
Now,
yeah,
they've had a racial discussion in response to certain polling that says we could maybe get 8% more if you turn black. So Trump, you know, with his kind of goofy statement, I didn't know she was black. I didn't either. When she was in California and she was the first Indian descent attorney general in California.
It's pandering. It's called pandering. Just like when she shows up to do a speech in front of black people, all of a sudden she get this Southern drawl.
And she sounds black.
That's Southern drawl. But it's insulting because I know black people that don't sound like that. Now, I've actually talked to white people that sound like that too. But when they only do it. Hillary Clinton did it. Al Gore did it. And now Kamala Harris is doing it. They talk when they get in front of black people, they have it in their minds that they have to come down to their level in order for them to understand what they're saying. How insulting is that?